So I got a couple experiences that I'm, I don't want to say disappointed in, but it's like, why does this happen to me? I don't know how often this happens to other people, like other men. And if this happened to you, just drop your stories in the comments or your experiences because I would love to hear. I think it's hilarious. But like a real question that I have is like, why are dudes hitting on me? Like, can we not do this? Like, personally, if it wasn't obvious, I'm straight, and I had a few experiences with like guys hitting on me, and it's just like, come on, let's not do this because it's just like, man, did you really think that I was down for the sussery? Like, do I look like I'm down for the sussery? I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm not really sure the intention when dudes like go out and I guess shoot their shot with another man. Like, do they kind of just pray? Somebody's honking that horn crazy outside. Do they just go out and pray like, oh, I hope he's gay? Well, sorry, I got bad news for you, buddy. It's not gonna work. So I'm gonna just talk about a couple. I have like three experiences that I can recall right now, and actually these were like all in 2023. So they luckily it hasn't happened to me recently, but I just wanted to tell these stories. Now I told these stories on stream. One of them, if you were on stream and you heard the old man story, that one was crazy. I'm sure most of you know, bro. Can you stop honking that horn? Like it's not that serious. Anyways, so I'm not gonna tell the old man story in this video. Instead, I will just link the stream that I spoke about it in. It'll have the timestamp built into the link. So you press the link, it'll take you directly to the timestamp. You can just watch it there because I showed receipts. Like I showed the text messages and all that of what he was saying to me. But pretty much the whole gist of it was I met an old man in my neighborhood. Dude is probably he gotta be mid 80s. Like that dude's one shot. Like if you breathe on him the wrong way, he might pass out. He might be dead. So yeah, he was trying to get down and freaky, and I wasn't with it. So I'm not gonna share that story. If I hadn't said it on stream, I would share it here. But like I said, I'm just gonna link it. But I got two other stories that are a little bit up for interpretation, and you can let me know. And that's kind of why I'm making this video because I want to get other outside opinions on this and just what do you guys think? I also told these stories on stream as well, but it's been a while, been over a year, and I don't know how many people actually heard it. So here we are. I'm gonna tell them again. So the first one was, man, it was like, was it last summer? I think it might have been last summer. I don't know. Was it last summer or was it 2 summers ago? I don't know. It was some summer. I was in Manhattan. I don't live in Manhattan. So every time I go to Manhattan, I have to take a bus that takes me from my place all the way straight to Manhattan. And, I was in there. I was in a park. I was sitting down. I was by myself. And I had like, I was dressed nice. I had a nice outfit on. And this dude comes up to me. Like I'm sitting down. He comes up to me. I could already tell first moment I seen him, he was, I don't even have to say, like, and it was just by his mannerisms, his outfit, his mannerisms, everything kind of just screamed, I didn't want to say it, bro. I don't even want to say it, but I already knew what was up. So I didn't know if he was like coming up to me because he thought I was attractive or whatnot. But dude came up to me and was like, hey, just want to interview you about like marijuana. And, I want to kind of just, get your thoughts and whatever and just ask you some questions. And I'm like, sure, bro, whatever, let's do it, And I didn't really think much of it. I didn't know if he was trying to do some stuff or what. So, he sits next to me and he has like an iPad with him and like with some questions on it. And he begins the interview by asking me personal questions, like kind of like just like my background, like stuff about me personally, nothing relating to marijuana. So like my name, age, and whatever else, like where I'm from, and all these different like questions about me, as if he was trying to get to know me. And that was the first like sign. I was like, okay, I don't know, something's up here. I think the dude was from like Germany or something. It's like it was like he wasn't like white though. He was like kind of like a light skin. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think he had an accent. I can't remember, but yeah, he was asking me a bunch of personal questions, and I was like, okay. Like, had one eyebrow raised. I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm like, when are we going to get to the questions about the marijuana? Because I don't know why he's asking me so many personal questions. Why is this relevant? So he's asking me all that. And then he finally, at like 3 to 5 minutes, he finally gets to the marijuana questions. And he's asking me, he's like, you know, do you smoke marijuana or do you use it at all? And I'm like, no, I don't, which is true. I don't smoke. I've never smoked weed or anything. I never smoked anything in my life. Never, not one puff hit, whatever you call it. I don't even know the terms. So I've never done it. I never will. But and that's what I was telling him. I was being truthful. I'm like, yeah, I don't smoke. So no, I've not used it. And he was asking me stuff about like, what do I think about the legalization of marijuana? And I was like, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me because when it was illegal, I didn't use it. And now that it is legal, I still don't use it. And my reason for not using it had nothing to do with whether it was legal or not. It's just a personal choice. And, he's asking me these questions, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I have friends who use it and I don't really have a problem with it. I've been around it. It really doesn't bother me unless it's like right in my face or whatever. And he's asking me all these questions, and then at the end of asking these questions, he's like, yeah, so yeah, I just want to get your phone number, because we're supposed to get the phone numbers of the people we interview. And I'm like, hold on, bro. No, so he didn't actually specify why he needed my phone number. He just said that he needed it. And I was like, for what? I remember that exactly. I was like, for what? He was like, yeah, we're supposed to get the phone numbers of the people we interview. I'm like, nah, I don't know about that one, buddy. I don't know. So he has this like iPad, like I said, and I guess it's like a document on there with his job role and with like details of what he's supposed to do. And he tried showing me this section of the document where it says that he's supposed to get the phone numbers of the people he interviews. And I'm looking at the screen and it doesn't say that. It literally says the reverse, that he's supposed to give out his contact information to the people he interviews. And I'm like, so see, to me, that was like, I'm like, so you're trying to make stuff up and then you try to like show me this document to verify it and it wasn't even accurate. Like, what was that? And he was like, yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to blow up your phone or nothing. I'm like, I don't know about that. I was like, listen, you can get my email, or did I can't remember if I proposed the email or if he did. I can't remember, but I ended up giving him my email and I never got an email from him, thankfully. So I don't know if he was trying to do some stuff or what. That one's like not too bad, but I don't know. Just the feeling that I got, I thought he was trying to get down and do some sussery, and I wasn't trying to do it, so I wasn't about to give out my phone number like that. So I didn't give it out to him, and he went about his day. I never saw him again and never heard from him after that. So let me know what you think about that. Do you think he was trying to, do some stuff, trying to pull quick, fast one or not? But then the second one, so this one is a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Blatant, I guess, but it's still up for interpretation. It still is like someone could see it as not the guy trying to do some stuff, but I really feel like I'm like more confident in this one that he tried to do some stuff. Anyways, and so if you don't know, I don't do my own laundry. I think it's a waste of time, so I have people do it for me. So it's just like a service. They come pick it up, they drop it off or whatever. And I was using this one company for a while, ever since I moved out on my own. I've been using, I switched now because they were like, whatever, inefficient, whatever. But I used this old company and they always used to have the same delivery drivers that would come pick up and drop off. I would always see the same faces of delivery drivers. And I would always see this guy. This guy was probably about 6'1", 6'2", like dreads and like dark skin. He's like darker than me. And he just seemed like a regular dude. I never thought anything, never would have suspected him to be, not straight. And, I seen him over and over. Like he would always come drop it off. I would hand him the bag and he would hand me the bag and be like, thank you. And that's it. Just keep it moving. And he's probably around my age. He could be younger or maybe older. I don't know. But he's probably around my age. And one day he's coming to drop off my laundry and he sees me, or like he hands me the bag, and he turns around like to walk back to his car, but then he pauses, like he hesitates. So he turns and then turns back like this. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. He was like, oh, I just lost balance there for a second. I don't know what's going on. He's like, oh, I want to ask you something. I'm like, okay. And listen, in this moment, in my mind, I'm like, is he gonna ask if I'm a YouTuber? Because I get recognized every now and then. It's not often. I'm not like big enough to the point where people recognize me on a regular basis. Um, but I thought maybe it might be possible because I've been recognized multiple times before. So I'm thinking he's gonna be like, "Are you a YouTuber or something?" And what he said, I would have never imagined. So if we had like a multiple choice list of things that he could have possibly said, I would have never like him asking me what he asked me would have been my last choice. Like I would have been like, nope, that's not it. He would ask me this, and this before the one he actually ended up asking me. And so he goes on to say, he's like, yeah, I'm new to the area, and he's like struggling to get the words out. So he's trying to speak and form a sentence, and he can't do it. And I listen, I've been there before myself. I have a whole another situation in high school where, and this is like this, I can go on to another story about this if people wanted to hear it. I wouldn't be too opposed to sharing. I would have to think about it, but pretty much I had another situation, and I want to get to the point here, and I'm like kind of rambling, but I had another situation where there was a girl I was interested in high school, and I wanted to tell her before we graduated, and I was shook. Back in high school, I was not confident at all. Um, I'm a lot more confident now, and especially in my 20s when I started gaining more confidence. But in high school, no, 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 I was not confident at all. So I was trying to tell her, and I couldn't form a sentence. And so I know what that's like. I've been there, and she picked up on it, and she pointed it out. But I'm not going to go too far in that story. So I say that to say that I know what it's like when you can't form a sentence, and obviously that was happening to me because I was attracted to her and I was about to tell her. And I'm assuming that that was the same thing for this guy. So I don't know what was going on, but he was like struggling, like he was like stuttering, couldn't speak. And I'm like waiting for him to say like, what is it you want to tell me? And so much so that I'm holding my laundry bag, and it's heavy. There's a lot of laundry in here. And so I have to prop it up between like my thigh and the door frame because this dude's taking way too long to speak, and I can't hold this thing for that long. So I need like some pressure release. And he noticed, he picks up on that. He's like, oh, sorry. And then he finally gets it out. He's like, yeah, I'm new to the area and was just wondering, if you want to get some drinks sometime. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that one, buddy. Oh, that's a rough one. And in the moment, I'm like kind of frozen for a second because I don't really know what to say. And I'm trying to figure out what his intentions are. I'm like, is he asking me on a date, or is he just trying to make friends? Because listen, in my mind, drinks is like an intimate activity, like a date activity that you do, right? Now, I don't drink either. I don't smoke and I don't drink. So I told him, I don't drink, sorry. And that was it. But just him asking me that, in my mind, it's like maybe like he's trying to ask me out on a date because that's like a date activity. And so I was like, what is he trying to accomplish here? Now, I should have asked for clarification. I should have said, okay, just to be clear, are you asking me on a date, or are you just like trying to make friends like in the area or something? Like I don't really get what you're asking here. I should have said that, but it didn't come to mind. It didn't come to mind. If it had came to my mind, I would have asked him that because I'm very straightforward now. I kind of just like say things as they are, and just I like to know things for sure instead of having to like guess and try to figure things out. It's very, very stressful doing that. So I just like to know, and I just say whatever my intentions are. I like say them straight up, and that's it. So if I had that thought, I would have. I need to drink some water, bro. I would have just asked him. Hold on, let me drink some water. I'm dying here. So you can let me know what you think. Do you think drinks is an intimate activity or like a date activity, or do you think he was just trying to make friends? I personally think it was a date activity for some more reasons we're gonna get into right now. So when he said that, and I told him I don't drink, sorry, he said, "Oh," and then like his face was like full of shame and embarrassment, as if he just got rejected. That's what it looked like. And I'm listen, I'm right there. I'm feeling the vibe, and it just seemed like like he worked up the courage to ask me this, and he got rejected, and it just like here's the thing. Another thing is like I don't see why somebody would be so nervous to speak to another guy. If you're straight, why would it be so nerve-wracking to speak to another man, you know? I can understand you asking that to a woman, whatever, but to another guy, if you're straight, it doesn't really make sense to me. Now, obviously, there are people that struggle with like social anxiety and are very, very introverted, and maybe he was trying to get out of his comfort zone. That's possible, but let's weigh the likelihood of which one is more or likely or whatever, right? So we got option A. He was attracted to me and he was asking me out on a date, which is very reasonable with his actions and his mannerisms and how nervous he was. Or option B, he happens to have like severe social anxiety and actually was trying to put himself out there to make just friends, and he's straight, and he was nervous because of that. I think it's more likely, personally, I think it's more likely for someone to be nervous because they're attracted to someone as opposed to having severe social anxiety, to so much so that they can't even speak to another man and they're straight, you know? So I don't know. That's just what I think. Like I said, it's up for interpretation. I don't have a concrete answer, but if I were to guess, I think he was asking me on a date, man. I'm not gonna lie. So I told him I don't drink. He was like, "Oh," and that was it. I said, "Appreciate it though, thank you." Took my bag and went inside, and he walked to his car, and he had to hit the walk of shame back to the car, and that was it. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he was aiming for there. But then I saw him a couple more times after that, and I never asked for clarification just because I didn't really want to bring it up. It felt like it was gonna be weird or something. So, it wasn't awkward though. And the next times I saw him after that, now I don't see him anymore because they ended up outsourcing their delivery drivers to DoorDash. So it was always like a new random person who would drop off my stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen that dude in probably over a year. But that was crazy. And then there's the third story with the old man who was trying to get freaky. All this happened within 1 year. I know. I'm pretty sure it was 2023. Yeah, because I remember it all happened in 1 year. Luckily, since then, I haven't had too many experiences, or I don't think I've had any experiences where I've been getting hit on by guys, which, obviously I don't want to be hit on by guys. So I'm glad about that. I think part of it is just due to the fact that I don't do anything besides stay home, go to the gym, which is 2 minutes away from me, and it's like a weight room with no one there. I'm always working out there by myself or with like some old guy who does like quarter reps. He didn't even do half reps. He does literally quarter reps. And so there's no one there. Um, yeah, the gym is like 2 minutes walking for me, and then I go for a walk in the park. That's all I do. I don't do anything else ever. Rarely I'll do something with friends or whatever, but yeah, that's pretty much all I do. So there's no chance really for people to even see me. Um, and I guess that's why I don't have too many experiences like this. But for some reason that year I had multiple. Like I don't know what that was about. Two of those were just here in my neighborhood. The other one was in Manhattan with the German guy, with the marijuana dude or whatever. So that was just one time I had went to Manhattan for something. But yeah, I mean, I would hope that the inverse can happen where it's actually girls coming up to me saying that, because that's what I would want. I'm not attracted to men. No, I was gonna say unfortunately, but or unfortunately for them, I'm not attracted to men, because if them dudes are really trying to do some stuff, I'm not down for it, bro. Sorry. But yeah, so that's the story. If you want to see the old man one, yeah, I'm gonna put a link in the description for it, and it'll be a link to the stream where I show like all the text messages he was sending me. That one's like it's the craziest. Like that one's not up for interpretation. That man was just objectively, he was trying to get down and freaky, and there's no other way to see it. That guy was weird. And I saw him the other day. I hadn't seen him in years. I saw him the other day and he didn't see me. So I'm glad he didn't see me. I'm trying to not run into that guy ever again. But yeah, you can press the link in the description and watch it. I might make some more videos like this because I think it's just fun to get on here and talk, and share some funny stories and just talk about my life and whatnot and vent if I need to. But yeah,